Being the cover legendary Pokemon in Pokemon Platinum, and essentially being the Pokemon equivalent of the Devil, it's safe to assume that Giratina is one of the best Pokemon out there. Since Giratina beat out Primal Groudon in the latest Best Pokemon Poll in my community tab, in this video we'll be discussing if Giratina and its origin form as well are the best Pokemon or not. Make sure you guys leave a like if you want to support the channel as it helps a ton, and subscribe with post notifications turned on so you don't miss a future upload. Now, in case you guys are new to the Best Pokemon series, I highly recommend you read the description, but in a nutshell, in the Best Pokemon series, we take a look at some of the best Pokemon from a competitive standpoint, discuss what makes them so good, and if they are the best Pokemon or not. It's very important to understand that this is from a competitive battling setting, and a competitive battling setting is very different than just battling against gym leaders in-game or other NPCs like that. If you guys want to see specific Pokemon featured in this Best Pokemon series, let me know in the comments down below, but of course before you leave a comment, make sure you check out the full Best Pokemon playlist in the description to see the full list of all the Pokemon that have been featured in the series so far. So taking a closer look at regular Giratina first, it is a Ghost and Dragon type Pokemon with the abilities Pressure and Telepathy. Giratina has a stat line of 150 HP, 100 attack, 120 defense, 100 special attack, 120 special defense, and 90 speed. These are some pretty great stats overall, with only one stat being below 100, which is the 90 in speed. It's also interesting to note how Giratina and its counterparts, Dialga and Palkia, all have the same stat numbers, just flipped around to different stat categories a little bit. If we were to compare these stats to Giratina's origin form, we have Levitator's origin form's only ability with a stat line of 150 HP, 120 attack, 100 defense, 120 special attack, 100 special defense, and 90 speed. The only stat difference between the two forms are the offenses and defenses, which are swapped, making Giratina origin form a much better offensive Pokemon than its defensive counterpart, regular Giratina. Giratina origin form is also limited to only holding the Greasiest Orb, which I'm probably saying wrong, which also boosts Giratina's Dragon and Ghost type moves by 1.2 times. This further cements it as the more offensive form of Giratina, as it can do some serious damage. Outside of this, there really aren't any major differences between the two Pokemon. And moving on to the negatives, this will take into account the origin form and the regular form. First off, negative for the origin form, you are limited to holding a specific item. Although the Greasiest Orb is a pretty good item, being limited to only holding one item and nothing else severely limits the sets you can run. It's generally not a good thing when a Pokemon is limited to one item unless you're a Mega, which have insane stat totals. Both forms are the same type of Ghost and Dragon, which means they have a lot of weaknesses. Ghost and Dragon are the only types in the game that are weak to itself, and Giratina has both of those types. This also brings along other weaknesses such as Ice, Fairy, and Dark, which are all very common types for moves. Both forms also struggle against faster Ghost types, since both forms only have a speed set of 90, where plenty of faster Ghost types can come in on Giratina and fire back with a very strong Ghost move, or even worse, a Ghost Z move. This is more of an issue for Giratina origin form since it is a little bit frailer than its regular form counterpart, but regular Giratina still has to watch out for this, since something like a Gengar can do a lot of damage. And now on to the positives. Both forms have some pretty great bulk. Both of them have an insane HP stat of 150, and both of them have defensive stats of over 100. Sure, regular form is better because it has 120 both defenses, but they're still both pretty good defensive Pokemon. They both have some pretty decent offenses as well. Now, regular Giratina's attack stats of 100 aren't that great in context talking about the best Pokemon series, but they're certainly more than usable. Origin form's attack stats of 120 are a little bit better, making it an offensive threat on the physical and special side. Giratina has access to some nice support options as well. Both forms have access to moves like Will-O-Wisp, Defog, and Pain Split, which can really benefit your team. Giratina also has some good overall coverage, which we'll talk more about soon in the ratings portion of this video. And now moving on to the ratings, we'll keep it simple and keep both forms as one Pokemon, as they are technically the same Pokemon sharing the same dex number. So for offense, we'll give Giratina a rating of 4 out of 5. This rating is mainly attributed to Origin Form's 120 attack stat, and the boost it gets from the Greasiest Orb. This makes Origin Form a pretty good attacker, but it does fall a little short compared to other Pokemon we've seen in this series. For defense, we'll give Giratina a 4 out of 5. This rating is mainly from the regular form Giratina, having an insane HP stat of 150, and both defensive stats of 120, which is just insane. Sure, Giratina does have a decent amount of weaknesses, but these stats are nothing to take lightly. Aside from the weaknesses, the only other thing holding me back from giving Giratina a 5 in defense is the fact that Giratina doesn't have access to Reliable Recovery, which I think would really benefit this Pokemon. For versatility, we'll give Giratina a 5 out of 5. There is a pretty big degree of versatility when it comes to Giratina, as you can be a more offensive threat with the origin form, or you can be more defensive and hold any item with the base form. The offensive form is a little bit limited in versatility, like I said earlier, due to having to hold a specific item. But overall, Giratina is a pretty versatile Pokemon, as its regular form is capable of doing a lot of different things. For Movepool, I'll give Giratina a 5 out of 5. Giratina has access to some great support moves like we mentioned earlier, as well as some great coverage moves on the physical and special side. The only downside to this Pokemon's Movepool is that it does not have access to move like Rooster Recover. And for Viability, we'll give Giratina a 4 out of 5. Overall, Giratina is a pretty solid Pokemon all around. There's a lot of things this Pokemon can do, however there are still better options out there for whatever you want this Pokemon to get done. Giratina Origin Form is a great offensive Pokemon, and regular Giratina is pretty good as well. However, I think both of these just fall a little bit too short from being the most viable Pokemon out there. In terms of some movesets you can use on your Giratina, first we'll start off with a regular form Giratina. We have Smogon's recommended set, which is Giratina with the leftovers, Pressure Ability, 248 HP, 208 Defense, 52 Special Defense, Relaxed Nature, Defog, Rest, Toxic, and Will-O-Wisp. This is a more defensive set, which plays really nicely to Giratina's strength. There isn't an offensive move on this set, however, and the Relaxed Nature lowers the speed, so it can be changed if you do decide to give this Pokemon an offensive move. If you were to give Giratina an offensive move on the specific set, I'll recommend replacing the move with either Will-O-Wisp or Toxic, since you probably won't need both of those anyway. Now for an Origin Form set, we have Giratina Origin Form holding the Greasiest Orb of course, Levitate Ability, Max Defense, Max Special Attack, Modest Nature, Hex, Draco Meteor, Will-O-Wisp, and Defog. This is a more specially offensive set, however you can just as easily run a physically offensive set due to Giratina's high attack stat and special attack stat. Hex and Will-O-Wisp is a little cheeky to pull off, so you can easily replace them with another ghost move and another coverage move, so you're not limited to just using your stab moves. In terms of some Pokemon to pair with Giratina, one of the most obvious pairs would be a strong Fairy type due to Giratina's weaknesses to Dragon and Dark, as well as Giratina's resistance to Poison to assist the Fairy type. Something like Xerneas would pair so nicely with Giratina, as Giratina could provide defog support and status your opponent's Pokemon in order to let your Xerneas clean up later in the game thanks to Geomancy. And that is Giratina. Is Giratina the best Pokemon? Let me know what you guys think about Giratina in the comment section down below for a chance to have your comment featured in the next best Pokemon video like this comment right here. Personally, I think Giratina is a pretty good Pokemon, certainly better than most, but unfortunately for it, I don't think it is the best Pokemon out there. Make sure you guys click that like button on the video since it helps the channel a ton, and subscribe with notifications turned on so you don't miss a future upload. Thank you guys so much for watching, have a great rest of your day, I will see you guys next time, and bye bye.